Hello everybody, it's Bills.com's football guy here with another video. I tried recording this video earlier, but the sun was, here, and literally my phone was talking in bits. It's just because the phone got so damn hot that it was it recorded in glitches. And hopefully when I do this one, when I review it again, it won't be doing that. But what are we talking about here? Okay, now SEC, Big Ten, ACC. We know the ACC is losing schools. The ACC knows they're losing schools. I've had people who come up to me still now. The ACC is not losing anybody. Like the ACC itself knows they're losing people, which is the whole reason why they had Stanford, Cal, and SMU in the first place. They were doing a preventative measure, which was very, very smart on their part. It's looking better. People don't like it, but it actually looks like a smart move right now. Because if they hadn't done it, it could be a lot worse off for them. But I thought originally that the SEC was going to wait until the Big Ten move. The Big Ten was make the first move. And then I looked at the pro rata that the SEC deserves. I had to do the joke. I'm sorry. But they're only, according to the deal they have with ESPN, they're only allowed 2 at a time. They can add only 2 at a time. According to that. Which means, and what I've heard is, the SEC, Sankey, possibly himself, probably did, went to the ESPN and told them, of your favorite 3 that you worry about the most, Florida State, Clemson, North Carolina, the 3 who said they were going to leave, you're only able to get 2 of them. And what I've been hearing is that, okay, number one, those on their, the SEC does not care for Florida State. They don't care for Clemson. They sure as hell don't care for Miami. I mean, Miami right now is persona non grata with the SEC. It's going to take some serious cash to get them to change their minds on this. Because the SEC, look, Miami has said for a long time, in fact, they've had academics from the university making public statements that we don't want to be associated with that conference down south. Our academics are far superior to any university there. One person who made a comment on X quickly retracted, made an offhand comment about Vanderbilt. Not a smart move. So basically I got told from people, if Miami's on fire, we're showing up with gasoline, a blowtorch, and some marshmallows. We'll help burn the damn thing to the ground. We don't care. Florida State, not as bad, but they whined. They whined. Clemson, did they whine? They wanted to know clarification. Florida State wants to get in the Big Ten. Clemson's been very, very quiet. There's a reason they're very, very quiet. Because what I've been hearing, apparently, the SEC is going to add 2. Big Ten will add 2. The SEC will add 2 more. Okay, everybody's following me so far? We're going to live here? Good? Okay. The 2, Clemson and North Carolina. They're going to add those 2. That's what I've been hearing. They're adding those 2. Because they don't care about Florida State. They don't care about Miami. And they don't care about Georgia Tech. Now, first interesting disclosure. I got to give a shout out because I've had this video for a while and then also I'm ready to go and I decided not to record it. And then Greg Flugar, peek around the corner, Greg Flugar. Nobody's 100% right, but he has a pretty damn good batting average. I want to check him out because he's got his stuff on there. He made his predictions on things. And then my man Knumbskull News, I see you. I see you. I see you. I forgot what the camera was here. I see you. Why am I wearing the sunglasses, by the way? Because I'm going to be leaving here in a second, and the sun is right there. It's at eyeball height, and I'm heading due west into it. So I'm getting used to this stuff. So this gets done, I get to go drive into this stuff. Not going to be fun. Anyway. Now, Knumbskull has his own prediction. What he thinks on there. And Notre Dame and Miami to the Big Ten. That was Greg's prediction. I don't buy it. I'm disagreeing, politely disagreeing with Greg. Now, Greg, we all have our sources, or sauces, as some people have on the internet, and saying, My whole thing is why. Notre Dame makes almost as much money as the Big Ten. They don't have to split their college football playoff money with 18 different schools. They only have to split it with themselves one time. They made more money in the CFP this past year than anybody else, by far, for an individual school. Not a conference, individual school, by far. Hell, they make one appearance, they'll win one game. They're pretty much going to be making more money than anybody else. So that's happening. They don't need them for exposure. They don't need the Big Ten for access to the CFP, which is all they wanted. They don't need the Big Ten. So for them, not making any sense. Now, I want to get that off the way to get to this. The SEC taking Clemson and North Carolina. They are the two they want. Why are they taking North Carolina? Why are North Carolina and Virginia so high up on the list? They should be going after Florida State and after Clemson to get premium matchups. What many more premium matchups do they need, genius? They damn near got them all already. What the Big Ten has that the SEC doesn't have is tomato cans. What's a tomato can? A school in college football that goes 6-6, 5-7, 4-8, occasionally 7-5, who is competitive, but the top schools can beat the pants off of, obliterate them, pad their resume, rest some guys, get them rested, and have basically almost a week off. Not a full week off, but don't have to go full tilt the entire game. A little bit of a rest. Starters get some reps. You need some tomato cans in your conference to help out your top schools. The SEC, psyche on the fact of Wilmot, and I've said it for a while, basketball is a priority in the SEC. Oh, no, it's not. Still think it's not a priority with the 14 schools making the tournament? Now, I'm going to say this. Did I think they deserve 14? No. I'm an SEC guy, and I'm going to say no, they didn't deserve 14. But Florida, Auburn, Alabama, Tennessee, can't say they didn't belong. 10. Anyway, the point is this. You need tomato cans. And the fact is, all those SEC schools, basketball-wise, they're not going to be that good every damn year. We know this. So you would need basketball schools coming in, tomato cans you could beat up, pad your stats, who still have some value, and a brand name in some cases, North Carolina, where you could beat them up in football, but basketball-wise, if one school drops off, they pick it up. And you keep that high value in the tournament. That's the point. But you still got to have some brand names. Now, Clemson, North Carolina, go. And I have said for a while, and you can check some of the videos, I thought between Florida State, Miami, and Georgia Tech, two of those three are going to end up in the Big Ten. I don't see Notre Dame going right now because they don't need to. They don't need to go. So why would they? So Clemson, North Carolina, go. Florida State. Now, the fact is, Florida State does not officially have their AAU status. The only way Florida State's going to get in for certain, if Fox says if you add Florida State and Miami or Florida State and Georgia Tech, they'll raise your money. Everybody gets a pay raise. It's the only way it's going to happen for Fox. Fox is going to have to kick the money up. Will they do it? If they're not willing to do it, and it's AAU is the primary thing, it's Miami and Georgia Tech, which I thought what it's going to be. If Miami and Georgia Tech, for the sake of argument, Miami and Georgia Tech are the two that go. Would Florida State again go on the second run? Yes, they would, but to the SEC. But who would they go with? Would they go with Virginia? There's a list of schools that technically not a top 5. It's a top 7. A couple schools are tied. So it's like first, second, third, tied for 4th, tied for 6th. Because 4th would be 4th and 5th. So it'd be a top 7, essentially. Who are the top 3? G. Whatever order you want to put them in. I'm not going to put Florida State, Clemson, North Carolina. You could say who's number 1 out of the 3. Doesn't matter. That's the top 3. Between what the SEC wants and what ESPN wants, that's your top 3. Who's 4th? Tie. Between Virginia and, getting a lot more steam, even though some of them from that school don't like the idea, Kansas from the Big 12. Kansas is getting an input because of the fact of, one, they could be a tomato can for football, and two, they're a damn good basketball program. They're an old Big 12 school. Big 12 school. Rivalries with Missouri, with Texas, with Oklahoma. That works in that aspect. Kansas had some fun games against them, didn't they, in football? Full of some hell upsets. I smiled on a bunch of them. But anyway, Kansas, why would they go in? Some people from Kansas are saying, hey, we'd rather go to the Big Ten. We'll wait on the Big Ten invite. You want to wait for 25 years? Can your university, if the P2 does their separation BS, which I don't want, I don't want it, but I'm not the one in voting power. If they do that, you want to be left behind? And I had somebody messaged me on there, people saw it, and then one guy, he's a Lawrence, Kansas, he's a Kansas Jayhawks fan. I wish your full ID, I could say what you were on X when you posted. That right now, he didn't think, and I agree, nobody can afford to turn down the P2 right now, even at a half share. You need to be in the P2 before the music music stops and the chairs start getting sit down. You need to be in. You can't even afford a half share at this point. And even a half share. You cannot afford to not make it. Pride's going to have to be put aside to get in. So Kansas is on the list to get in. They're higher up than some people think, but they're on the list. Which puts the Big 12 in a position, if Kansas does leave, where do you go for backfill? Should I make a separate video about that one, or you all want to discuss in the comments? You let me know. All right. As for... So, Kansas getting in, Virginia getting in. I don't know which has got more of a priority. Virginia's had its moments in basketball. Football, not so much. It's a state that the SEC's not in, that be a tomato can. Kansas is at the same level. A little bit further west. Do they want to do that? Virginia's a little bit further north. So you're still expanding the footprints, and it's still the same thing. North Carolina's North Carolina. Now, tied for 6th. One school I've been talking about that they were up and now they're down, and they're not doing it. There's no way they're at them with all the pigs and all the other stuff and all the other crap going on the list. Miami's technically still on the list. Actually, 3 schools tied for 6. I guess it's top 8. Miami's technically on the list because they have to be. And whether a lot of people like it or not, West Virginia is still technically on the list. They're the last school on this top 8. Miami is 6th. West Virginia is 8th. But they're still on the list. Who's 7? Normally, I'd say would not get a shot. But with the idea of doing things right now, possibly could be in. And that all depends what other schools do. Like if Florida State comes in, it's going to be between Virginia and Kansas. If Florida State is gone, well, then that takes that out of the equation, and now you're talking these last 4 schools, 2 of them are going to be in there. Could be Virginia and Kansas, or maybe Virginia doesn't go. Maybe it's Kansas and the other 2. Could it be Miami? Miami's if Florida State's still there, Miami's gone. Or both could be gone. West Virginia's technically on the list. Who else is? Duke. I was thinking, there's no way in hell they're doing a private school. No way. It goes against everything in the SEC. Times change. Are they low on the list? Yeah, they're 7th. But they're still on it. Odds are, in Virginia, Kansas will be the 2. I doubt they're going to get down into Miami, Duke, and West Virginia. I doubt they're going to do it. But they're technically on the list. So, the SEC is going to grab 2. I'm hearing Clemson, North Carolina. The Big Ten will grab whatever 2 they get, and then the SEC will make a move accordingly. Now, will the Big 12 make a move? Well, that depends on, number one, if Kansas is gone. If Kansas is gone, they're going to have to make a move. And that's the separate video, is if Kansas is gone, do they grab an ACC school? If ACC schools say, no, we're not paying the $75 now, do you stay at... This is a question for one doing the video and for the Big 12 fans watching this. If Kansas leaves, you're down to 15. And you can't get an ACC school. Do you stay at 15 hoping to get one there, or do you add a G5? You guys let me know what you think about that in the comments. I'm letting that one there. Now, as for Notre Dame, could Notre Dame potentially leave the ACC? 2036, when their contract's up, yeah, they could leave. Now, the thing is, they're contractually tied. If they wish to join a conference, they have to join the ACC unless they pay a buyout. They're a full share member voting, so I'm assuming they're paying a full share buyout, the same $75 million, even though they just do basketball. No, you're still paying full share. You're a full share member, you pay a full share buyout. So they'd be paying $75 million to leave. Now, I've said this before. Would they leave before 2036? If more than 6 ACC schools leave, more than 6, we're talking 7 or more, that means the Big 10 has to take 2, the SEC has to take 4, and the Big 12 would have to snatch 1. Or somehow, some way, the Pac-12, which I doubt, but you get the point here. If they left, would Notre Dame consider leaving? It'd have to really be a lot of schools to get them to leave early. A lot. Like half the 8 schools at least. You get 8 out of here? Okay, what conference do we have anymore? Why am I here? So Notre Dame's going to wonder what the hell's going on. And if that many brands leave, I mean, the fact is the payout, that's the reason why all the thing is the top brands leave. The base payout for the ACC is at a certain level. It's less than the Big 12, but if you add the ACC network, they're more than the Big 12. But the top brands leave, the ACC network is going to drop off. How much? We don't know. So odds are, would they leave before 2036? I said it's going to take a lot of schools leaving. Schools would have to leave to go to the Big 12. ACC gets their bite, Big 10 gets their bite, schools leave for the Big 12. Notre Dame's like, what the hell's going on here? Oh, we're Catholic, we can't curse. What's going on here? And it'd be a legitimate question. What is going on here? If that happened. Do I think it's going to happen? No. But with Kansas, that many schools leaving, is somebody going to hit the panic button? You know, somebody going to hit the eject and say, I'm out of here. Maybe. Would I put much stock in it? No. Now, 2036 rolls around. This is a totally different story. Because there's not, if all those schools have left, schools could have left for the leave for the Big 12 at that point with no restriction. And now it's like, why are we here? And I think the ACC at that point would definitely entertain the idea. Now, could they get the stick around if the ACC still has a full top 5 playoff spot and can get in there? Would they consider still doing it then? Possibly even joining the ACC at that point? I doubt it, but they still have their own way to get in. But affiliation agreement with the ACC wouldn't be that valuable at that point. Would they do a scheduling agreement with the Big 10? As I've talked with a lot of people that are around, some people, not a lot of people, but some people around the Big 10, there's quite a consensus that they want Notre Dame as a full member or nothing. They don't want to do a scheduling agreement. We're more important than you are. You want us full share, everything. Everything comes in. Football and Olympic sports. All of it. Or no bother asking. Now, that's the attitude of some of them. You guys want premier matchups and 5 games a year. And NBC's already got all the home games for Notre Dame. And they're part of the Fox package. You're going to turn down 5 games on the Big 10 network or on Fox with Notre Dame in it. Notre Dame, Michigan, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Notre Dame, USC. You're going to turn those down because of your ego when you need premium matchups? Seems rather dumb, doesn't it? But let's say for the sake of argument only, let's say they choose in 2036, whatever it is, 2031 maybe, whatever the hell. They choose, okay, we're leaving the ACC. Go to the Big 10 about us being a scheduling agreement. The Big 10 says, crazily, no. I will be stunned if that happened. Absolutely stunned. You know what the next thing it's going to be? Hey, Brett, you're Mark. Hi, it's Notre Dame. Listen, I can hear Brett right now. He says, I apologize for interrupting. I just want to say to you real quickly, I'm sorry, but we will not ask you to become a football member. I saw the agreement. We all know it's public knowledge, the agreement you had with the ACC. If you're interested in entertaining and continuing that same kind of agreement with your Olympic sports in the Big 12 and 5 games a year with the Big 12, we'd be more than happy to entertain that with you. Brett's not stupid. In fact, if it hasn't happened already, I'd be having a conference call with every school in the conference. Okay, preventative conference call right now. If the ACC gets poached, Notre Dame may jump. The Big Ten may do something stupid. I want to know right now, if Notre Dame says they want to do the same scheduling agreement that they have with the ACC, Olympic sports and football, 5 football games with the Big 12, is everybody in agreement that we should do this? Find out about it now, and we'll do the framework later. Because everybody said, oh, the Big 12, it's going to be the excessive travel. Do you know where the hell the Big 12 is? Iowa State ain't that far from Indiana. Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Texas. The state's in Texas. The middle of the country, where's the primary part of the Big 12 is, and where's Notre Dame? In Indiana, in the middle of the country. ACC's all the way on the coast. Yeah, they're going to have to do a couple games and go to Phoenix and go to Arizona and all that stuff. And they have to do a couple games at UCF or in West Virginia or Louisville, which isn't that far from Indiana either. Having done the route, driven there, trust me, it ain't that far. So it's a hell of a lot closer than going to North Carolina. So travel-wise, so am I saying it's going to happen? No. But is it something to consider? I mean, for me, there's 3 games that I would look in there and I would be laughing my ass off. I am not lying. 1, McLean Stadium, Notre Dame comes to play Baylor. I know Baylor fan Scotty on there, but Notre Dame would take over your building. It'd be an interesting sight. TCU hosting Baylor. That place would go unglued. That place would be crazy. It'd be miles of traffic, tens of miles of traffic getting in for that game. That'd be a crazy game. But the one I want to see for the fact on there, can you imagine Notre Dame traveling to Morgantown to play West Virginia? West Virginia on the road in South Bend, TCU on the road in South Bend, UCF heading to South Bend, Arizona heading to South Bend. ASU hosting Notre Dame. The Phoenix area going nuts. Coach Prime dealing with the Fighting Irish. Am I saying this is going to happen? No. Because a lot of stuff will have to have gone wrong for it even to be considered. Let's be real. The ACC will have to have lost a ton of schools and a ton of things have to happen. And the Big Ten will have to make an incredibly stupid mistake because Notre Dame doesn't want to join the conference. They say, oh, well, they're going to have to because they're going to have to join a conference. Where, stupid? Show me, is there in the governance that Notre Dame is required to join a conference as part of the governance? I think Notre Dame would sign off on it if it was. And everybody has to be in agreement. No. Notre Dame can stay independent. We're going to create a new subdivision, create on revenue sharing. Doesn't it say it's revenue sharing based on conference and revenue sharing? Is it subdivision on conference and revenue sharing? Just revenue sharing. Notre Dame could go. Again, you think they're going to do something where Notre Dame is going to vote no? Everybody has to be in agreement for it to pass. So Notre Dame will stay independent. They don't have to join a conference because they'd never agree to the damn thing if it was. That simple. So, do I see them joining a conference? No. With the Big Ten like it, they're having wet dreams. Some people in the Big Ten are having wet dreams over Notre Dame joining the conference. But no, I just don't see it. I see them going south. Fox wants to get into Florida. There's some of the Big Ten that want to get into Florida. Pick between Florida State, I say between Florida State, Miami, Georgia Tech, 2 of the 3 are going to end up in the Big Ten. And there's your move, what happens from there. Then you see what happens. SEC makes their moves. If the SEC rates Kansas, what does the Big 12 do? There's a lot of things to consider. But, yeah. Wow. I'm watching somebody right across from us. I can't put the camera up, but you know the old saying on there that this Jimmy Cliff, I can see clearly now. Reminds me of a old co-worker. Guy tripped over the DEF filter there. A little quick story I found funny. Right down there, I had a truck stop and parking trucks and trailers. The guy's parked next to me and going there, says, I can do it, handle anything. And he's singing Jimmy Cliff, I can see clearly now. I can see the rain is gone. Now, the rain is gone. He's singing. Now, next to the truck, his truck, which is the next one over, like where this trailer is right here, there is a sidewalk, and then it goes down a berm, all the way down about 25 feet, down into a retention basin, which is a good bit full of water. I can see all the obstacles. He tripped over the curb, rolled down the damn embankment, and went splashing into the water. And I damn near couldn't breathe from laughing so damn hard. And everybody's going, did you do that on purpose? Man, you shoved me. I'm like, no, there was nobody within 10 feet of you. You just tripped over yourself, you idiot. Anyway. Had to throw that story in because that was funny right now. But anyway, I'm done running my mouth long enough. Why don't you let me know what you think about everything down in the comments. So again, thanks everybody for watching the video. If you haven't done already, do me the favor. Smash the like button. Hit the thumbs up. I appreciate it. And lets YouTube know the videos are getting paid attention to. It helps the channel out. Comment on the video. 2 at a time for the SEC. Who would you think they're going to take the first 2? Who do you think they're going to take with their 4? What do you think the Big Ten's going to take? With the Big 12, how to do it? And Big 12 fans, if somehow, some way, Kansas gets to the SEC, and you can't get an ACC school, would you rather have them sit and not grab anybody, or grab someone from the G5? Or if you don't want to answer it, tell me you should do a video on it, and we'll comment on it then. Let me know about that in the comments. Share the video if you want to. Haven't done it already, check out some of the videos I've done. If you like them, hit subscribe to the channel. On the way to 1K, trying to make some magic happen. If you want to follow me on the craziness that is X, first off, I formally clarify, I am locked out of my old account that I've had for damn near a decade. Still locked out on it. I cannot get any headway with X. Letting it go. So I'm rebuilding the old one, which I'm not happy about. It's real fun. People the next day, well, you haven't been around that long, therefore you don't have an opinion. So if somebody was a serial killer and they had been around for 12 years, you'd listen to them more than the victim who'd been around, the victim's family who'd only been around on X for 4 months. I just think how stupid that logic is, you idiots. I've said that on X and they flew off the handle. But anyway, follow me. You want to follow me on the craziness, the cesspool that is X. The link is in the description. It's going to be fun there. So again, thanks everybody for watching the video. I got to get this done because I'm running on clock and I got to head into rush hour traffic in Nashville. Yeah. And head right into the damn sun on top of it. So thanks everybody for watching. I'm always having a great day. Be safe and please be good to each other.